Hey guys, welcome to the 47th C programming tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at the ternary operator. And the ternary operator is basically just a way to condense an if-else statement. And basically what we're going to be doing is just creating a function that is going to determine whether or not some number is equal to 5. And I know this function is completely worthless, but it's just a good way to look at the ternary operator in an isolated environment. So first we're just going to go ahead and prototype our function up here. And we just need to determine what the return type of our function is going to be, and we're just going to make it an integer. So our function is going to return a 1 if the number is equal to 5 and a 0 if our number is not equal to 5. And we're just going to go ahead and call this function is 5, and the function is going to take one parameter, just the number that we're going to determine whether or not it's 5. So I'm just going to say int a. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is just obviously check if this integer called a is equal to 5. So we're going to say if a equals 5, then we're just going to return a 1, indicating that a is equal to 5. Otherwise, so if a does not equal 5, we're just going to return a 0. Alright, so that's pretty much all our function is going to do. Now we're just going to go down here and call our function. And we'll just go ahead and print out what this function returns. So we'll just say printf, our function returns an integer. So we're just going to do %i right there, and then we're going to go ahead and call our function. So is 5, and we'll go ahead and pass through the number 5. So now when we run this, we should just get a 1 out onto the screen, since 5 obviously equals 5. Yep, perfect. And if I pass through any number besides 5, I should get a 0 out onto my screen. Perfect. Alright, so now let's go ahead and look at the ternary operator. So let's go ahead and try to condense this if-else statement using the ternary operator. So first, we're just going to go ahead and create an integer variable that is going to hold the number that we're going to return. So I'm just going to say int2return. And then we want to set this number equal to 1 if a is equal to 5. So inside parentheses, we're just going to want to put our conditional statement, and our conditional statement is a double equals 5. Alright, and we want this integer to equal 1 if this conditional statement is true. So we just do question mark 1. And then if this conditional statement is false, then we want to do 0. So now, if this conditional statement inside of these two parentheses is true, then toReturn is going to be equal to 1. But if this is false, then toReturn is going to be equal to 0. And of course, we just need to end the line with a semicolon. Alright, so now if I go ahead and return toReturn, then our function should work the exact same. So if a is equal to 5, then toReturn is going to be equal to 1. If a does not equal 5, so if this is false, then toReturn is going to be equal to 0. So when we run this, we should get a 0 onto our screen since 3 doesn't equal 5. Perfect, and if I make this a 5 now, I'm going to get a 1 since 5 is obviously equal to 5. Perfect. Alright, and what we can actually do is go ahead and copy this line of code right here and paste it right down here. So now what it's going to do is if a is equal to 5, then it's going to return 1. If a does not equal 5, then it's going to return 0. And you can use the ternary operator with any conditional statement or any type. So we could do this with characters or floats or doubles, anything we really wanted to do. But you just have to remember this. So if this conditional statement inside of the parentheses is true, then this is the value that will be used. And if this is false, so if this conditional statement is false right here, then this is the value that is going to be used in whatever you're doing, whether it's assignment or returning or whatever. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial on the ternary operator. So see you guys.